on Thursday of last week. I'm just going to open up a Windows 7 machine here for a second and go over primarily I'll get it yet. There we go. Talking initially about some of the differences between File Explorer, Windows Explorer. It was called Windows Explorer in Windows 7. It's called File Explorer in Windows 10. In Windows 7, when you opened Windows Explorer, it landed you in your libraries. Okay, libraries went away in Windows 10. I shouldn't say that. They didn't go away, but they are hidden by default in Windows 10. You can unhide them, but by default they are no longer there. Windows 7 has an icon on the left here called Computer. And over on the right, as you can see, I'm running out of disk space on this virtual machine. But on the right, you can see the categories: hard disk, devices and removable storage, and the network location. So it kind of categorizes your storage based on a category. That was Windows 7. Okay, Windows 10, which is the machine that I'm physically sitting at right now, when you open File Explorer, it lands on something called Quick Access, which is new to Windows 10. Okay, libraries are here, but they are not visible by default. So if I collapse everything on the left here, you can see that my libraries are not displayed. We'll talk about libraries in a second. But Quick Access pretty much is new to Windows 10. It gives you, as the name implies, it provides you with quick access to certain folders and files on your system. The folder area will always be shortcuts to the documents, downloads, desktop, videos, music, and picture folders within your personal profile folders. And we'll talk about what personal profile folders are in a bit. Okay, but every single user who uses a computer has, if you have 5 people using the same exact computer, their documents folder is different than the other 4 people that are using that computer. So these are just shortcuts to the folders like documents and so on that are in your personal profile folder. Anything more than that, like recordings, for example, would be folders that you frequently access will eventually automatically be pinned to this area. You can always pin something manually yourself by right-clicking on the folder and indicate that you want to pin it to Quick Access. But for the most part, if you don't pin it manually yourself, then there's a particular folder that you use frequently, it will be added there. So that recordings folder that I store all my recordings on, that's frequently used, so that's up in my frequently used folders. And then the bottom portion of the screen are the recent files. So again, as the name implies, the Quick Access provides you with a way to get quick access to those things you use often, okay, without necessarily having to know where they are physically stored on your drive. Okay, and that's the point that I want to make, is that as an IT person, you should know where they're physically stored on your drive. So when we're looking at, I'm trying to make this big that you can see it, but that's not. When we're looking at these files, no, I don't want that view. I need the list view, not list, details. When you're looking at the details view is where you have multiple columns here, and I don't know how well you can see. Is this blurred or is it me again? I need new glasses. Is it blurred? No. Okay. I definitely need to go to the eye doctor. Okay. So what you'll see over here on the right is, no, that is not what I wanted to see. I'm going to close this and reopen it. I changed this. A second ago, and how did I change it? So let's go with.
Ooh, there we go.
No, because I need you to see the. Okay, that's it. Tiles. Okay. This is the default view. Somehow I changed the view when I was trying to enlarge it. It automatically changed the view. But this is the default view, which means this is how you would typically see the frequent files. And what I want you to know is on the right over here. Okay. During the course of this semester, I will frequently refer to an absolute path to a file or folder. An absolute path to a file or folder always exactly identifies the location of that file or folder on your drive, so that if I was out at a command prompt and I needed to get there, I would know which folders I had to traverse through to get to that particular location. When you're looking at recent files, it does not always show you the absolute path to that folder. Granted, I can click on it and it will open the file, okay? But if I actually wanted to navigate to it and understand where it was physically stored on my hard drive, then I can right-click on the file. First, I'm going to point out the ones that do have an absolute path, like the Thor space over here, the T drive, T:\recording, T:\recordings, T:\, everything that is not on this physical, on the local C drive on this computer is going to show an absolute path. If I had a thumb drive connected or an external drive connected and there was a file that I accessed frequently, you would see the absolute path. In other words, you would see the drive letter that the file is stored on and a path of the folders that will lead you to that file. Everyone understand that concept? Yes? No? Okay? I'm not seeing anybody nod their head, and I'm not seeing anybody shake their head in either direction, so I'm not sure. I'm not seeing whether there are lights on, guys. I need to see lights. But if you look at this document, this PC documents, that's not an absolute path. Okay, an absolute path is always going to start with a drive letter, colon, and a backslash. Always, 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 always is going to start with a drive letter, colon, and a backslash. So G:\music, that's the absolute path to the Caliph surf file. Okay, T:\recordings is the absolute path to one of these video files. Okay, but this PC documents, that is not an absolute path. Okay, if I want to know the absolute path to that file, I can right-click on it and I can choose Properties. And from there, you can see in the location field, you can see the absolute path. C:\users /J_44 / documents. That's the absolute path to that file. If I went to this PC and I went to my C drive and I went to users, I followed that path, C:\users /J_44 documents. Okay, there's that file, tutorial for Smart Notebook. Okay, so the absolute path to the file, I can navigate to that from this PC by following whatever drive it's actually on. Okay, Microsoft has added these quick access areas that, quite frankly, are very convenient for a user who is not familiar enough about how things are stored on a computer. They just need to know that when I store them, I have quick access to them from this area, which is fine. Okay, but as an IT person, you should know that those are not absolute paths, and you should know how to determine what that absolute path is. If I right-click on this and I say Open File Location, because sometimes people say, well, that'll show me the absolute path. Okay, if I open File Location, does that show me an absolute path up here? This PC documents is not an absolute path. Okay, there are settings that could be changed within Explorer that would say, show me that, don't show me this, but actually show me the absolute path. But by default, that's not the setting that's enabled. So from within Quick Access, to view the absolute path to a file or folder, if it's not already reflected in the in this column over here, you would right-click on the file and choose Properties, and then look at the location value, and that would be the absolute path to the file. Everyone okay with that? Now, Windows 7, when you opened actually, I think I changed the one that's on that virtual machine. Typically in Windows 7, when you open Windows Explorer, you landed in this PC. Okay, and as I said, you don't land in this PC in Windows 10. But if you want to, you don't like landing on Quick Access, you want to land on this PC, then you can actually change the Quick Access configuration. Okay, and to do that, you would click on the View option over here, the View menu, and then go to Options. And there's umpteen ways to get to this next dialog box, okay? But this is the quickest way. So I'm going to go to View, and I'm going to go to Options. And from here, it opens up the Folder Options dialog box. Notice that this first item, Open File Explorer to Quick Access, that's what it's opening it to. Okay, I drop down here, and I choose this PC. I OK out of here, I reopen. File Explorer, and notice now I'm landed in this PC. Okay, so Quick Access is simply a list of shortcuts to commonly used folders within a user's profile folder. It shows you previously frequently used files and folders, and it is the default landing spot when you open Explorer in Windows 10. You can change that to this PC. This PC in Windows 10 also changed a bit from the PC in Windows 7. Notice that you also still have these shortcuts to those profile folders, the individual's profile folders, documents and musics and desktop and so on. So you still have access to that from this PC, but what you're not seeing in this PC is frequently used files or frequently used folders. Okay, the bottom portion, devices and drives, you have devices and drives all lumped together now. Before in Windows 7, let's see if I still have it open over here. In Windows 7, you had devices and removable storage and hard disks. So you had your hard disks that were internal to this computer in one category, and then devices and removable storage. So if you had thumb drives or external hard drives or any removable device that was attached to your computer, you would see it under devices and removable storage. Windows 10 kind of lumps it all together here. Okay, so notice I don't have any removable devices attached, but if I did, they would actually show up under here on devices and drives. And then network locations is still separate. Network locations are storage areas that I have access to or that you would have access to if you have anything under network locations. That is, notice my N drive, my S drive, my P drive, and my R drive. Are all storage locations that I have available to me that are actually folders on another computer on campus. Okay, so having access to storage areas on a server. You all have, how many of you have logged into the college's, to your account here on campus? You have an N drive, right? I just never know. Sometimes they take it away from students and sometimes they give it back. So it's like, if you have one, that's pretty much what my N drive is, okay? It's a storage area up on the college server that you can store files on, and that no matter what computer you use here on campus, you'll have access to that folder, okay? Not really cloud storage, but in essence the same concept, okay? So questions on quick access. If I'm in quick access, there's a couple of other configurable features of quick access. If I come out to view and I go to options, down at the bottom here, if I don't want it to keep track of the frequently used files and folders, then I can select settings from here. If I clear, that's going to clear all of the frequently used files and folders from the quick access menu. Quick access screen. What it will not clear are things that you've manually pinned there. Okay, so if it got there because it was frequently used, then you click on clear. It's going to clear everything that's there, but if I leave these two checkboxes selected, then it will then continue to keep track of frequently used files and folders and add more as time elapses. If you uncheck these two checkboxes, then if you clear and uncheck those two checkboxes, then you pretty much cleared frequently used files and folders and disabled it. So it's not going to post anything in those areas in the future. Okay? And it is considered a privacy feature. So again, if you don't want the things that you frequently use to actually be displayed there in the quick access, then that might be something you could disable. Okay? Questions on quick access? Okay. So let's keep that one video.